Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Took a little hike this morning down in a forest reserve southwest of Chicago called Country Lane Woods. There's a little old country road here that was used back in early settlement days, and it's been closed off to traffic, although every once in a while some knucklehead gets in there and takes their 4x4 down it. You get caught doing that, it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars. Anyway, it was an overcast day, some rain in the forecast. It's here. Luckily, I was almost back to the car, and I'm currently in a picnic shelter right near my car. Filming on the Osmo Pocket 3 today, and one thing I just want to mention before I get into what I'm going to talk about is, it comes with that wide-angle attachment that goes right there in the case. And not too long ago, I looked, and it's not there. Not a big deal. I maybe used it once or twice. And I went online, and evidently this is not an uncommon thing for people to lose the thing. So maybe the thing to do is not have it in here and put it in a separate case. I've checked all my camera bags, so it's not there. So it's out in the woods someplace. But today what I want to talk about is I'm out today. I took a little hike and only brought the Lumix S5 Mark II and the Sigma 20 to 200 millimeter super zoom lens, which, as you probably know if you've been subscribed for a while, is it's the lens I use almost all the time on this full frame camera. Probably the best super zoom that I think I've ever used, and that includes the Micro Four Thirds Lumix 14 to 140. I think that's a pretty decent lens. I think this is actually sharper and has lower chromatic aberration. But anyway, if you want to do close-up photography with this, it's pretty good. You put it like, 50, 85 millimeters, and it will focus down to half size close-up. It's not quite macro, but it'll give you a 1 to 2 reproduction. And that's in that range. If you go to 200 millimeters, it's not that close. And so if you want to get closer at 200 millimeters, you can get accessory close-up lenses. And I've talked about these before. This is a Canon 500D, not to be confused with the Rebel that was called the 500D, but this is a 500D close-up lens in 72 millimeter thread. Unfortunately, Canon does not make these anymore. I found this one on eBay for like $90. They're not inexpensive, but they're very high quality optics. So they have 2 elements, so they're much more corrected than single element close-up attachments, which of course cost much less. So these are sharper out to the edges than the single element ones are. If you don't care that much about it, you can save money and get a single element close-up attachment. Canon's nomenclature for these is not the standard nomenclature. The 500D, that's equivalent to a +2 diopter. They make a 250D. That is equivalent to a +4 diopter. So that is actually stronger. And if you're using one of these, if you're in the telephoto range, as you would be with like the 20 to 200, you want to get the 500D, because the 250D is just so strong, you're going to be that far away from your subject. But what I thought I'd do is, here are a couple shots of a wild geranium flower that I just took on this hike. And the first one is at the closest focusing distance of the 20 to 200 at 200 millimeters without the close-up attachment. And the second one is with the close-up attachment on. So see, it gets you quite a bit closer. And of course, at 85 millimeters, it gets you really close. So if that's a thing for you and you don't want to have a separate macro lens, these things are not a bad idea. One of the things that I didn't realize when I bought this, so I have the 500D in both 58 millimeter and 52 millimeter threads. Yeah, 52 millimeter threads. And I use those on my Micro Four Thirds equipment. Did not realize once you get up to 72 millimeters how heavy these are. I mean, this is a pretty dense, heavy piece of glass. So you might want to be aware of that. Not a big deal. I'm using a backpack today, so I'm keeping it in the backpack. But yeah, it's, you know, if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a macro lens, not a bad idea to have something like this in your bag. I'll leave you with some images that I shot today on this little hike. One of the things about this area, this is down in the Palos district of the Cook County Forest Reserves, and this is southwest of the city of Chicago. This is the largest area of forest reserves in the county. It's also the hilliest part of the county. So this is very glacial terrain, and not bulldoze flat like glaciers do in general, but here the glaciers, as they were receding, they left potholes, so little ponds, and moraines, and what are called eskers. The difference between a moraine and an esker is a moraine is left as the glacier recedes. It's left at the edge of the glacier. All the stuff that was in the glacier was getting dumped there. And an esker is a stream bed from a stream that flowed underneath the glacier and deposited all kinds of sediment and gravel. And it's they're kind of winding ridges where moraines are straighter. Anyway, enjoy this little show, and if this was useful to you or interesting, pop that like button. New subscribers are always welcome. I'm Todd Banner. I will see you next time.